Want to bring in Jeff Hammond. Of course, what's going on the racetrack is very important. But, Jeff, the big thing is NASCAR has spoken, and they have spoken firmly about Kyle Busch.
Yes, I have, JR. And the thing was, we were attending the announcement. Mike Helton said, hey, we're going to sit him down. We parked him last night during the truck race, and we're going to continue to park the driver of the 18, in this case, Kyle Busch. He will not race in the Nationwide Series or the Sprint Cup Series this weekend. Pretty tough blow to Joe Gibbs Racing.
Well, Jeff, let's take a look back at exactly what happened last night under the lights here at Texas. The white truck is the 33 of Ron Hornaday. The black truck's the 18 of Kyle Busch. Hornaday gets into Busch, and Busch did not like what happened, and here comes the retaliation.
Yeah, and this is where I think really got himself in trouble. You see the caution is out. The 18 truck, big separation right there. It was just like this, a regular racing accident, but Kyle comes up here, starts trying to basically spin the 33 out. He can't get Ron around. All of a sudden, he just hooks him in the right rear and turns him in the outside safer barrier. Again, thank God it was a safer barrier, but I think this is one of the contributing factors that NASCAR looked at. A racing incident all of a sudden escalated into retaliation.
Well, it's exactly what President Mike Helton said. They take each event and each concept as far as policing the events in a continuous motion. So what he said was this was a collaboration of a lot of things involved in this wreck that ended up in this serious punishment.
Well, they feel like that they have to sooner or later step in. I like what Mike said. When we would know when the boys have at it had gotten out of control. You hear how hard that impact was, and that was under caution. So they felt like that they had stepped over the line, and NASCAR had to intervene, and they took a really serious approach here to make sure that everybody in the garage area knew that this was enough. We're not going to accept this, and now Kyle Busch gets an opportunity to sit out the weekend. Now, he's not been sent out of the racetrack. He just cannot drive that 18 this weekend.
Well, for more on the number 18 and NASCAR's penalty, let's go to Randy Pemberton with our Geico Pit Report. Randy?
Well, we'll just recap what happened here this morning. As the garage area opened, everyone knew that Kyle Busch was going to have to go up into the NASCAR hauler and speak with the president of NASCAR's competition, as well as all of the brass there. That did indeed happen. First off, Joe Gibbs, the owner of Joe Gibbs Racing, walked up in the hauler shortly after 8:15 this morning. He was followed by president for Joe Gibbs Racing, J.D. Gibbs. Then, of course, Kyle Busch followed him up into the hauler. Now, what they did in that hauler was sanction Kyle Busch for his actions on Ron Hornaday in the Truck Series race last night. We were all trying to... Mike Helton gave us that in the press conference just a few moments ago. And here's what Mike Helton, the president of NASCAR, had to say about the sanctions on Kyle Busch.
During the truck race last night, we had an incident between the 18 and the 33 trucks that resulted in NASCAR parking the 18 truck for the balance of the event. That's done under Section 912 of the rule book. That gives NASCAR the authority to react during a race weekend. And following the event and after a good deal of conversation and discussion, NASCAR has decided to maintain that parked position on the driver of the 18 truck for the balance of the weekend. So basically what that means is Kyle Busch will not be participating today or tomorrow in the NASCAR event here in Texas.
Now, NASCAR has made it clear this is not a suspension. They have parked Kyle Busch for this weekend. He does not have to leave the racetrack. But, of course, when you talk about that incident, NASCAR has drawn a line in the sand. They will not tolerate this retaliation on the racetrack anymore. We've seen them ratchet up the fines, and, of course, they have that obligation to do so, to level this competition on the playing field and make sure that everyone has the opportunity to compete fairly. And certainly a big hit for Joe Gibbs Racing, and we will add that Michael McDowell is in the Cup car here, and he just was practicing out there at the Texas Motor Speedway. Guys?
Yeah, and Randy, when you consider the sponsor implications, that is a very serious penalty. It is also very rare for NASCAR to hand down such a penalty. Got to go back to 2002 when Kevin Harvick was parked for a Cup race for what happened in a truck race, and also just a couple of years ago when Robbie Gordon was parked for a Cup race for what went on in a Nationwide Series race at Montreal. So it's rare, but as Mike Helton said they felt that the actions taken in the Camping World Truck Series race warranted such a penalty.
Yeah, they felt like it was necessary. I mean, the thing is, they've got their backs up against the wall. They want these guys to be able to have at it and do what they did. I mean, if the 18 had gone back up there and pushed Ron Hornaday and act like he was going to spin him, bumped him back in, and just quit there would have been nothing. What else would have happened? They could have brought those trucks to pit road. Both of them could have made repairs and went back into the race. But when he got to the point where he turned him in the outside safety barrier, that's where all the fun stopped, you might say, and Mike Helton felt like they had to step in and make sure everybody knew we're not going to tolerate that, Jay.